of an old patrol ship, where a hand-lettered sign read, "Simulator time limited to 30 minutes while others are waiting." "Finally," she said, yawning. "Finally yourself," he shot back. "I was waiting out there 20 minutes. She shrugged. "My roommate wouldn't fall asleep." "So, any suggestions for a packing list?" he asked, abandoning the pretense that he didn't know what her surprise was. He knew he should probably ask her how she was doing or engage in some other kind of small talk, but right now, he didn't have the patience. 2 days ago, his newsfeed monitoring program had alerted him that an outbreak of measles, had forced a transport ship from Earth to turn back. A cross-reference of the passenger manifest had confirmed that a 13-year-old girl on board was scheduled to be enrolled on the Orpheus. Naval immunization rules meant that she would have to miss the upcoming term, which meant that there was suddenly an open spot with nobody to fill it. He'd sent in his own application on his 13th birthday, and he had nothing to show for it but radio silence. But now, with the recommendation of a senior cadet like Tolly... "Packing list?" she asked, frowning. "I'll get my own uniform, right? But I can't find anything online about whether the Navy provides underwear. You'd think they'd be more clear about details like that." "Wait," Tolly said slowly. "You think the surprise is that I've gotten you onto the Orpheus?" It was well done, he thought. She might have a second career as an actor if the Navy didn't work out. Stop kidding around. It's not funny. "Lucas, I'm not kidding. The surprise is that I got you time on the simulator. I thought it would be a fun thing to do before I shipped out." He suddenly felt as if he'd been dropped into freefall. This was why she'd called him down here? So he could practice flying in a stupid video game? "Lucas, I've told you this over and over," she said. "I can't get you into the academy. It's impossible." "But there's an empty spot," "which they're not going to fill with a kid from the belt." "That doesn't make any sense," Lucas said. "You're from the belt." Tolly shook her head. "I was born on Mars. That's totally different." Totally different? She'd only been 6 years old when she'd moved here from Port Meridian on Mars. Not long after that, her parents had died, along with Lucas's mother, in the Tannhauser pressure dome accident here on Ceres. Afterward, Lucas's father had adopted her, and she'd lived with them for almost 7 years. Most of her life had been spent in space. How was she any less of a belter than he was? "You need to stop getting your hopes up," she said. "The Navy has never accepted a belter cadet. Do you think that's an oversight? Or just bad luck?" Tolly's voice had that same "I know what I'm talking about" tone that she'd used to lecture him with when they were growing up on their father's mining ship. She liked to pretend that she was the expert on everything just because she was 3 years older than him. He'd forgotten how much he hated that tone in her voice. "Did you even try?" he said, unable to keep the anger out of his voice. "Or were you just lying when you said you'd put in a recommendation for me?" "I tried," she insisted. "Of course I tried. I talked to anyone who would listen. It was no use." Was she telling the truth? Or was she just telling him that so he'd shut up and stop asking? Half of him suspected that was exactly what she'd done, while the other half hated himself for not trusting her. "I know it sounds like it would be great to go to the academy," she said. "But it's hard enough for a kid from Earth or Mars. For you..." Lucas knew that Tolly was a lot better at social niceties than he was. Growing up on a mining ship meant spending a few days each month in port with whatever group of kids happened to be there at the time. And so you either got really good at making friends quickly, or you spent a lot of time alone. Lucas was solid.